to Happy Hour Holidaze with your boy, Manny Fresh. And then we got Sean Fabrizi over there. And we got our special guest, Vince Serrano.
Hey.
What's up, my brother?
What's good, my guy, Manny, dog, and Sean. I appreciate you guys for having me. For real, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dope things that you guys got going on here, man. I was very impressed right away. I love the setup, and I love what y'all got going, man. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. We're excited to talk to you, man. You got. I mean, you've done a lot, man. I even heard right when we were just talking. You played basketball professionally in Dominican Republic.
Yep.
You released music. I mean, there's so much that you've done in your life, and that's what's crazy about it, man. We all have adventures behind our faces that we just want to know and tell everybody about. So tell us a little bit about your background, Vince. Like, tell us how everything started, where you got to one of the hottest Best of the Bay podcasts here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, man. At the whole story, man, we only have like a little bit of time, so I'm gonna give you the elevator pitch. Yeah. But basically, I was born in New York, came here in 1999. Grew up in Tampa, learned how to kind of like hustle and be a man out here. Went to college, played basketball. It didn't. College didn't work out. My attitude, I still had that kind of like poverty mindset. Mm-hmm. Ended up having to go into play ball, forced to play ball, right, for money, because that's what I wanted to do. In DR, was out there for 2.5 years. Came back, tore my knee, realized that I thought that I could only be a basketball player, And so every time you saw me, I had a basketball in my hand. I was always in the gym. Once I tore my knee, I was lost. I got into the streets. Went to the streets, man. Maybe not the best idea. Could have taken that energy and put it towards something that was good. Ended up doing a prison stint, right? I was doing music. The drugs were financing the music. I was rapping about all that real life shit. And then realized what real life can do, man.
And VH1 picked that story up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always say my life is a movie. You know what I'm saying? And the things that happened during that time. I mean, I saw you guys had Chris John here. Like, I opened up in that 2008. I was there and seeing like Buckwheat and the legends that are around here. And, me realizing that I could make this, I made this huge mistake. I went to prison for 3 years. A lot of people don't know how to come back from that. 77% of inmates go back for a second stint. And when I left, they let me out on April Fool's Day. So I thought it was a joke. They woke me up. 4:45 was like, you go home. So I thought they like to play funny games, right? But they let me go. And as I was leaving, they were like, yo, we'll leave the lights on for you.
Damn.
Yeah,
you're gonna be back.
You're gonna be back. We got a bed right here for you. Wow. And
there's no better motivation to prove someone wrong, in my opinion.
1,000%, right? You're like you're over here like, I haven't even left yet. Y'all talking about I'm gonna be right back. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah.
Right? Let me enjoy it, man. I just walked out and you're already fucking bashing me, dude. And that's a lot of the problems with our federal system when it comes to the prisons. I mean, they're not trying to get you better to get the hell out of there. They just want you back in that, and it's just like, it doesn't even make sense to me.
It makes sense to them because a lot of those people, their jobs, it takes $36,000 a year per to house an inmate, right? That's each inmate. Wow. There's more prisons in every county than there are schools.
Oh wow!
In Florida,
damn.
And I had to work for my freedom. So it wasn't like I just went into a jail cell and I got to sit down all day and 3 hots in a cot. Nah, they wake you up at 4:45, you go get breakfast, and then you're doing a job. And the job is my job was DOT. So I was outside of the prison, mowing lawns, getting in ditches with water moccasins and all that. And I was like, yo, this is slavery.
Yeah, it's abuse, man. And they're like, we don't give a fuck. You guys aren't human now because you're in prison.
Well, the main reason they want prisoners is free labor. That's really what they want.
Yeah. And then government subsidies.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that, it's a business. So it makes sense to them. And then those same people who own stakes in prisons and privatized prisons or whatever, those are the same people that influence the music.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because, think about it. What they're pushing, right, during that time, all I knew was Pac, Jeezy, Ross,
Biggie.
those people. But when I was hustling, with Biggie and them, I was more of a teenager. Pac, I was more of a teenager.
I like Pac, man.
Right?
I used to get blunted to Pac all the time driving around when I was in high school. So I know that shit was Ballad of a Dead Soldier. I love that.
Right.
That was moment.
Revolutionary stuff Pac is teaching you, right? Which they moved away from that later on when it was Trap or Die. when it was thug motivation, when it was hustle, right? So all they're doing, you're starting to see these, these trappers, right? These rappers who are talking about kilos and drugs. So we're influenced by that. First thing we do is go pick up a pack, right?
What's a pack?
Drugs.
Oh, drugs.
Yeah.
The simpler words.
Right.
Drugs.
Yeah. And so that's what we do. We go pick that up, right? Because that's what the music is influencing. Now, look. I bet you those same people got stakes in medical stuff because now they were pushing drug use.
Yep. The vaccine.
Yeah. Well, just not even that. Like perks, Molly, Adderall, all that shit. Remember, like all this stuff. It went from you trapping to now you being a drug user.
And a drug seller, actually. What you're talking about, perks, Vicodin, everything.
Right.
And the kids are hearing it, and they're like, you know what? Maybe we should just make more. Big Pharma's thinking this to themselves. We should make more because now we got all these users out there. It's the legal way to get people addicted.
Absolutely. And so now you're sitting here thinking like, yo, music is a number one influence in people's lives. Like, yo, you're not. I mean, now I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm listening to audiobooks now because I'm a little bit, more mature, a little bit older. But when you sit back and think about it, though, when you want to go, you get on a plane or maybe not on a plane, but you go want to beat somebody up, bro, you might put in some Pac. Like, yo, my ambitions as a rider. You want to go do something. You want to go hustle. You might listen to, to Rick Ross, like those things. Or, now, you listen to Future, right? You listen to Juice WRLD, these Post Malone. People talking about doing shit that you know what I'm saying, like relaxation, but it be on the perks, it be on the on the drug, on the prescription pills, like you said, big pharma. And so me learning that the music is influencing people, I need to take a kind of step back and realize like, yo, what kind of person am I doing? Because when I was rapping about that drug shit, people was following me sometimes into death. Sometimes in the death, man, and it's hard for me to say that, but it's true. You may not even know that the actions that you're doing could lead to somebody else's demise. Not even thinking it's gonna be that serious. But yeah, man, you go tell somebody like, yo, my man, yo, we gonna ride on this dude, and then one of your people don't come back.
Oh shit!
That it opens your eyes on what's real and what's not, and that's somebody's mother, brother, father, some uncle, you know what I'm saying? And life is too short for that. Yeah. And so I started realizing in that 3-year stint that when I come out, I wanted to be something different. I would walk around the track in the prison and just look at all this beautiful land, but I'm behind these gates with a gun tower that if I come close to this yellow line, they're gonna off me.
Oh shit.
That's what it is. And so people who ain't never been there, that was my first time ever arrested, ever in handcuffs. I went straight to prison.
What was it for?
Armed trafficking and intent to distribute. They dropped the armed trafficking because the gun was actually mine. Because, we live in Florida, right?
Concealed carry permit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I had that and I was out here doing like just in case, right? You're not gonna get me like that. But now,
was it coke or weed?
It was cocaine.
It was
coke.
And
that was I was making great money. Like I was treating it like a business, and I had experimented with like selling crack cocaine and stuff like that. And I'm not glorifying that. I'm just telling you what happened in my life. Yeah. And it's like, I saw what it was doing to people's lives. And before I was just doing stuff for people who party, right? Then I got into a little bit harder drugs and making more money, faster money, and starting realizing the stuff that comes with it. And so that's where the VH1 stuff started picking it up, because we were getting into shootouts. We were getting into real stuff, like stuff that I ain't have to do.
It's a choice at the end of the day, but we all grow up and we got to find our way. And when our minds aren't fully matured, we're thinking, hey, this is what I need to do to survive. And,
let me ask you a question, man.
What's that?
Have you ever sold to, like, say, a doctor or
Absolutely.
a lawyer?
Doctors, lawyers, and police officers.
Judges.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All that shit.
So, I was just talking about this the other day.
So the ones convicting you are the ones that are buying it too, right?
Yo, they're giving me tips on how to
avoid.
Yeah. Yo, you know what they're looking for? Yo, I used to come around, I had this caddy, 75 caddy. And they're like, bro, do me a favor, don't pull up in that one, because it's just causing like a lot of scenes. Like, go get you a Toyota. Dress, don't come in with the do-rag and the braids. Like, yo, dress up in the suit, man. Look, had a baby seat in the back. You're not looking for that. And I'm like, yo, you know what? These people are right? And I'm learning from them. And then,
That's enabling is what that shit is.
You know what's crazy is this is, and I'm gonna be real with you, man. I still got relationships to some of them people today because they actually were in my best interest, and I learned not to judge people because they didn't judge me. Yeah. They all felt bad when I went to prison. You know, they all were like, "Yo, you know, that's not what it is." You know, and then I realized, like, yo. They're not bad people because they're doing what they're doing. Everybody got their issues.
Yeah, everybody's got their vices.
Yeah.
So is that where you wrote a lot of your music that you came out with? Was during that prison stint?
Yeah. So I definitely was in the studio every day before then. I had bought my own studio. I linked up with a couple of my people, and
because you said you opened in 2008
for Christian.
Yeah.
We were going crazy, man. We had DJ Smalls. He's from Tampa. He was putting out 2 mixtapes for me. Hunting Season Part 1, Hunting Season Part 2. You know, a lot of, you know, Christian was playing my record, Hey DJ, on the radio. We were going hard, right? Then the prison stint kind of paused, put everything on pause. And I had recorded music to be put out while I was in prison, but, you know, nobody's going to run your business like you, bro, you know? Yeah. And so I had to start over when I got out. I wrote a lot of records, dog, but I'm not going to lie, man. In prison, I was at war with the police. Like, I was at war with the cops because in Florida State Prison, it's not the inmates who run it. It's the boys in brown. That's what the shit eaters is what we call them. And they would ask me like, yo, why you think you famous? Like, why you running around here like fresh and da-da-da? And I'm like, because I am. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all I know is Chris John said he never put no shit on his mixtapes or any of his music that he played, so I know it was hot.
It was hot. That's what I'm saying. And so but when you in there and you dressed with the number and they take your name and they give you a number, you just like everybody else. And then you can make your mouth fried chicken in prison, right? So everybody got these stories about how they were the man and they were the things. But I literally have the pictures and stuff like that. They're sending me my mixtape covers, they're sending me all my stuff, but still people was like, man, that shit's trash. Like, that shit's trash. And then the cops were like, man, fuck this guy, man. This guy think he's, you know, running shit, you know? And I had that attitude that kind of like, yo, I don't give a fuck about, you know, nothing else. I got people who love me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming home one day type shit. Yeah.
And when you did come home, what was the first move you did? In terms of a business aspect with your music.
Yeah.
And I mean, when'd you start
bought a studio,
Youngest in the Yacht Club?
Yep.
You know?
I started Youngest in the Yacht Club in 2021.
Nominated for Best in the Bay, guys.
Nominated for Best in the Bay podcast. Thank you, man. Thank you.
That bitch, I like that name, dog.
You love that shit, right?
Youngest in the Yacht Club.
Youngest in the Yacht Club. Yo, it means something. It means a lot of people is like, oh, it means like, yo, you know, money, wealth, and you know, it does. It means like, yo, there's new people that look like us in the space, and we're doing things, right? Yeah. So it makes us feel like we're game changers, right? Yeah. Everybody want to be in the yacht club, but it also means I couldn't say dumbest in the yacht club, right? So it means learning from the older people and their mistakes and being able to take that and doing what they did and then doing it faster.
Yes.
And then paying it forward, teaching the people behind you to be able to do it even faster than you. And that's really what Youngest in the Yacht Club is about. And I started that because, you know, I had changed my life. I got out of prison. First thing I did was buy a studio. I didn't have no money, didn't have no house, but I bought a studio. And I was
smart move, though.
Recording in my grandmother's crib.
You can still live in there?
Yeah. Well, no. It was a mobile studio. So
okay.
Probably recording in my car. I had a caddy still, so that was good. But, you know, I went and did that. I started, you know, really trying to get things off the ground, but I had no money. I didn't have no clothes. I came out with the clothes that I had. And long story short, man, I couldn't go back to selling drugs. And I actually went and got a job selling alarms. And they moved me to Pittsburgh, and I did great, but then we had to apply for permits. And when I applied for my permits, I thought nothing of it. They found out that I had a felony and they fired me.
Man, that's fucked up.
It's part of the society, right?
It's part of the system.
And then how do they expect anybody to get out of prison and make a life for themselves? You're doing good, all of a sudden your background and you get fired? I mean, what the fuck?
And I sold like 53 alarms in the summer, dog. They were like,
you did door-to-door sales, right?
Yeah.
I did the Verizon Fios and I did ADT for a little while.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I was good.
That shit made me different than, it made me who I am today as far as like sales. Man. Because you're just thinking, you're going up to somebody's house, you're interrupting whatever the fuck they're doing,
Yep.
and you're closing them.
Yeah, and dog, that was business school for me.
Yeah.
That was business school for me. And that a lot of people don't realize that. Like, I learned, like you said, it did something for you,
Yeah.
right? Having to go out and hunt for your food. Like,
Yeah.
you kill it, you eat it.
$0 too.
Yeah,
unless you sold
unless
something.
you sold something. And bro, that was, to me, that was like hustling. That was like going out there. It was the same adrenaline rush, being able to close somebody that you had nothing on the board, and you went and you put something down, got paid a good amount of money.
It was good, man.
When they took that from me, bro, right? And they were like, yo, the manager was like, bro, we like you, man, but like they're telling us to fire you, so work under somebody else's name. And I did that for 2 weeks. I worked under my boy's name, and then he had some issue with his baby mama. They froze the account, and my money got locked up. I was like, man, fuck this shit, man. And I went went back to selling drugs. I went to sell weed though.
Yeah.
Because weed is a little bit.
Weed's okay, in my opinion. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But it was still illegal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In 2015, it was still illegal. 2014, 2012, 2014. That's how the VH1 shit popped off, because now I take everything. Like, a lot of people don't know this about me, and it's a great thing, but it's a bad thing. People think I'm a nice guy, right? I'm a good guy, yo, he's cool, all that. But then if you get to know me, right? And I'm not saying I'm not a good guy, but the level of commitment that I have to doing shit, people don't understand that you have to respect that. And if you don't respect that, I'm not fucking with you. I'm not, and that's anything that I go, it's like you have this podcast today, right? You guys put all this effort into making this shit, bro. And then somebody comes in and kind of like, yo, I don't give a fuck about this shit, bro. I was like, yo,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
fuck you, bro. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And you,
I mean, I feel you on that, but you know what? Honestly, Vince, the biggest thing that I've learned, our strategic advisor for our business, he was buying a Rolex, and the guy at fucking Mayors was just telling him, most of the people that buy these watches, they're basketball players, they're football players, they ain't no regular average Joe like you. And I'm like, bro, why the fuck are you taking that shit? And he goes, because I'm above them. I don't need to get worked up.
for sure.
Let them be miserable. I'm just going to keep it cool.
Absolutely.
It makes me feel like I'm doing better than they are.
And
sure.
to that point, we'll get right back and like, comment, and subscribe.
And we're back with Happy Hour Holidaze. We're here with Vince. And Vince, we've seen Tampa grow a lot. We were talking about this a little bit off the camera.
For sure.
I mean, you've seen it go from cow pastures,
Orange groves.
to what it is today. I mean, we were talking about Miami, Los Angeles. Well, what's going to make Tampa be that way? But we've still seen it grow a ton. I
Right.
mean, in your experience, what do you feel about the temp right now in Tampa? Like,
Bro, we are hot. And I know we were talking about, like, yo, why is this place not like Los Angeles, San Francisco? Oh, it's getting there. And I know because of the neighborhood that I grew up in Tampa. So I grew up in Tampa Heights, right? In 99, Tampa Heights was the hood. Like, we're a hop, skip, and a jump from Robles. We're right by downtown. The trolley station, the old trolley station, boom. It's grass, Blake High School. You got West Tampa projects, all there. Fast forward to today, yo, the people that are walking around Tampa Heights today would not be walking around in 2002, 3, 4, 5, right? It's gentrification at its best. And what's crazy is this, right? I see it because when we were coming up, yo, when you got money, you moved to Brandon.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the lie that we were told. Yeah. We sold our houses in the city, right, for cheap, right? And then we moved to Brandon. Well, what they did was they just relocated the hood. They pushed the hood out. Now the hood is you go to Brandon, you go to all these other areas, their crime rate has gone down. Has gone up. The crime rate in the city has gone down. Now the bus depot is Armature Works. Yeah. They put where West Tampa projects are off of Main Street, right? Now there's leasing, like luxury homes. Yeah. Tampa Heights, the bus depot, the Blake High School is like a great school now. And it's like, you're starting to see like the changes. And, I love it because, me and my girl like doing new things, right? We always want to see, me and my wife, we want to see new things. We love to see the city growing. I just wish that our people had a little bit more financial literacy to know, don't sell your home. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to buy back in. No. You know, not where you're at. Like,
because it's so expensive.
Yeah. And not to blame the parents or anything, but
no.
They didn't teach us financial literacy.
They probably didn't know.
All they told us was go to school, get a job. That's it. They didn't say, oh, you can actually do more than that. You can start a business. You could literally be whatever you want to be. No, they just taught us what their parents taught them. And that's literally it. And you know what? Back in the 1950s, that was the way to do it. But now every kid on the street has a college degree and they can't get a job. Yeah. And you know who's giving them these jobs? People like us. People that own businesses. Youngest in the yacht club.
Yeah, yes, sir. I love that. Say that one more time.
Youngest in the yacht club, dog.
Yo, it's crazy because, and I'm glad you guys are bringing this up. Yo, you have to be that one that's going to change the lineage of your family.
He always says that.
You got to be, bro.
You got to change your family tree.
You do, because, like, my grandmother came from poverty. My mom came from poverty. Their people came from poverty. So who was going to be the one to actually, they're trying to make it. They have that survival mentality instead of that thriving mentality where it's like, yo, I can get at a high level. Like, we can do this. We can make this thing happen. It don't matter where I came from. I'm not going to be a product of my environment. I'm going to make my environment be a product of me. And that mindset shift, that abundance mentality. These are books that I've read in prison. Awaken the Giant Within. How to Win Friends and Influence Other People.
That's a great book.
Yeah. Above the Line, Lessons in Leadership. All these like leadership books that self-development books that have taught me, like, yo, I'm not just a Latino kid from fucking Tampa that's either going to be my mom used to tell me, you're going to be just like your dad. Well, my dad was he wasn't, and he gets mad at me. Right? He gets mad at me, right? Because he didn't get deported, but he can't come back to the United States because he got a case against him. And so he went, got a case when I was a baby. He was like, fuck that. He had a whole nother family and moved to DR. Damn. I didn't meet my dad till I was 14 years old. So my mom used to tell me, oh, you're going to be just like your father. You're going to be a hustler. You're going to be, and guess what? I was just like my dad. And then I realized, like, yo, I don't have to be what they tell me. I could be many things. Yeah. Elon Musk, he's not just the owner of Tesla. The Boring Company, SpaceX, X right now. Yeah. Like, yo, there's so many different things that he is, right?
The solar company.
Look, we got him right there. You know what I'm saying?
He's getting high. Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So you could be many things in this life, and you will be many things in this life. All you got to do is keep living.
You know who else said that? Les Brown, bro. Do you like Les Brown?
Hell yeah, Les. And he says, seeing the little things, the memes, you know?
And he's like, one's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.
1,000%.
I'm the one. So a lot of people, they suffer from negative self-talk. So they have all this negativity surrounding them, and they take all that in, and then they start believing it's real. They start telling themselves it's real.
Absolutely.
Instead of realizing, you know what? Fuck all these people. The only reason they're miserable is because want you to be miserable is because they want you to be just like them. Nobody wants to see you succeed. 1,000. Nobody. Except maybe your parents. But even then, who knows?
Yo, it's crazy about that because, like, yo, your parents may not even understand what you're trying to do.
I don't think they ever did. I mean, when we quit those safe jobs that we had, 9 to 5, healthcare, all that stuff.
What are you doing?
I mean, my dad didn't even talk to me. He was like, bro, you're a stupid idiot. You're going to quit an engineering company to go take pictures? I was like, wow, man.
Yo, my grandmother right now, literally like 2 days ago, they're like, how are you making money? I'm like, yo, like, I own a business, right? I actually owned a solar company, right? Not just a solar company, an installation company. I started from nothing. When I went to get in the industry, I had to move from Tampa, right? I needed to change my environment. I'd moved to Tampa to New York. My grandmother was like, you're an idiot. People are coming down here. Why are you going up there? The sun's here. There's not even sun in New York, right? A year later, I bought her a house.
Oh, shit.
Abuelita,
There we
oye,
go.
abuelita, no habla mierda.
Then she's like, yo, you need to stay in that industry. I changed the industry.
Did you sell that business?
I didn't sell it. I closed it down. The reason why I closed it down is because I didn't have faith in the industry anymore. And I'm going to be real with you.
What year was that?
I just recently closed it in 2020. I closed it in February of 2023. I owned it for 5 years.
That was recent.
Recently. And it was to focus on Youngest in the Yacht Club. And I want you to know what happened. COVID happened. Material costs went up. And then so many people started rushing to the industry, right? Now, I'm great. I love growth. But there were so many unexperienced people that rush into this industry. And then because it's a commission-based job or because it's so new, they don't have the experience. They lack the experience. And then the homeowners are the ones suffering because they're not getting the right information.
That's what it was all the time, man. It was
Well,
like
we worked with a solar company doing solar surveys for them.
Yep.
And they closed down.
Yeah.
Because they weren't small. They had like almost an entire floor in downtown Tampa in the SunTrust building.
Yep.
Come to find out that they were just
MC Solar?
Yes.
Yes. I can
Oh,
see.
shit.
Yeah, I know. So this
They
is the
owe us
thing.
money, dog.
Yo, bro,
A lot.
I know that's the same thing. Look, I don't think that those people, and I'm not defending them because there's a lot of class action lawsuits on them.
Yeah.
But when you go into the industry, you're not going in trying to scam people. But when things change overnight with administrative changes, 40% of the margins went out the door.
Bro, it was literally one
Overnight.
Yeah.
Administrative changes, pricing and panels went up. They put a tariff. It was an American company, American Solar Company, a solar panel manufacturing company that put out a lawsuit that says we cannot compete with these panel companies overseas. So that's not legal, right? And they put in a lawsuit, and that stopped all the panels from coming in.
Oh, shit.
Now you have a shortage in panels, supply and demand because the industry is growing. What happens to the price of panels? Shoots up. And now you have to pass that to the homeowner. Well, now instead of the homeowner saving money, now guess what? You have to, you in some cases, you're raising their bills. How can you feel good about that? Right? Okay, you can sell long-term savings, but really, dog, 40% as a company owner, I didn't feel good about that. And I can't go through a class action lawsuit because I'm the type of guy, I've paid for my people's panels when I fucked up. One person over there in Peace River municipality in Bradenton, man, I told him something. He didn't get what he needed, and so I raised his bill. I had to come out money for his panels. I've given people new roofs because of panels.
Holy shit.
Because that's what I want to do. But then after a certain while, you're like, I can't.
Yeah, now I can't give away money anymore. I mean, I get it, but if the industry keeps changing and I'm, unfortunately, unknowingly giving somebody information that hasn't been updated until yesterday, I mean, what the fuck? I got to get out.
It's a lot of shit I can't control.
Yeah.
Who's the class action lawsuit against?
It's against MC Solar.
Oh, it's against
yeah,
MC Solar?
Yeah, and it's against their...
Is it the homeowners that are suing them?
Yeah, because... So this is the thing,
Because
man.
now people are... The installation contractors are putting a lien on people's houses, right?
Yeah.
Because MC Solar
They
never paid...
subcontracted.
They
and
never
didn't-
paid the
never
contract.
paid them. And this
That
is the
happened
thing.
recently with the pool company. I think it was Titan Pools or Titus Pool.
Olympia.
Yeah,
Olympia
so-
Pools, yeah.
So when you're doing these financing jobs and you're financing, I don't think that anybody should be in a, and this is the thing this is the reason why I got out. I don't think that anybody should be in construction that actually isn't willing to go through the learning situation first. Like you shouldn't go into solar unless you actually take classes and know what solar's about, because then what ignorance is not an excuse, and if you're not willing to get on the roof or know how to service your customers, it's cool. But what happens 5 years down the line? And so I couldn't feel, I started the installation company to do it, to learn that, to make sure that my customers were serviced, because I was hiring these subcontractors, and then these subcontractors were growing so fast that now you have one crew. All right, you're getting so many jobs. Now you need three crews. Well, now you're doing so many jobs. What happens to the servicing? Somebody needs service. You can't even pull somebody off the thing to service their jobs. And that was like, the customers are yelling at me. And I'm like, yo, I'm sending my people over there to go fix these things faster than, these subcontractors. And it's like, yo, there's a lot of things that are outside of my control. Youngest in the Yacht Club, I control all that. We do a podcast. That's the reason why I knew that anything that I go into it 135, 45%.
Full commitment, baby.
That's it. And I feel like people who aren't doing that, that's the reason why they fail. With MC Solar, and I don't mean to give them too much stuff, but I want to tell.
No, give them as much as you want, dog.
Yeah. I see. It's crazy.
They fucked us, bro.
Yeah, and they fucked themselves too.
Yeah.
Like growth happens, right? And if you're not prepared for it, shit can go down.
And that's a fact. If you don't have a good foundation and you grow too fast, well, let's put it this way. Let's say you want to build a house and you don't pour a foundation, but you start building the walls. Well, when a hurricane comes by, the walls aren't anchored to anything. It's just going to fall over.
Yeah.
So you can compare the hurricane to growth and the lack of foundation. Boom, MC Solar folds.
Yeah, I hate to do this, but it's the truth. You know the submersible that went into the Titanic?
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
They were using like carbon fiber titanium or some shit like that.
Well, the pressure. It's the pressure and at the depths that you're not really you may have gone down that to that pressure a million times, but once there's a little crack,
that's it. I mean, I just think that, for being so rich, why the fuck do you want to do that? That thing didn't even look, I'd
rather go into space.
People were calling it a submarine. That shit ain't no submarine. That's like a plastic tin cup.
It's a soda can.
All right, guys, you're going down.
I feel like when you start getting a certain amount of money, you start wanting to create experiences, right?
And you probably also feel invincible.
Yeah, like and then
I can't die.
Yeah, you probably know you're gonna die. Like those people probably had good life insurances and good contingency plans. But what I'm saying is like, yo, if I go this way, then that's how it was meant to happen. You know, because that's how I started thinking when I started getting a certain amount of money. My solar company made 7 figures a couple years, man, and that's why when people are looking, and for people who don't know what 7 figures is, at least $1 million. Okay, it made 6 figures every single year that I was in there. We were on track to make 7 figures last year.
Why didn't you exit it in terms of selling it?
Myself and my partner. So I sold half of my company to a partner to get us licensed. That's when I started realizing the contractor life. That's when I started realizing that it
ain't fucking easy.
It ain't, and not that it ain't easy, but contractors have a certain way of looking at things. They have a certain attitude towards things, and some of that shit is like fuck it, I don't give a fuck, and I can't. I that's not the way I think.
Yeah.
And so, when I started realizing that I sold my company to get us licensed, that was the beginning of the end. Because then our employees started to see that. We started attracting those kind of employees, and then we started going through those kind of situations.
So you were working out in New York doing this?
We were in 5 different states. So I started in New York.
But then you came back down to Tampa, and you were still doing this.
Yep. Okay. Tampa, Rhode Island, Boston, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. And I was traveling. I was only home 6 days a month, bro.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Were you married then?
I was not married. The last year, yes. So going through the first year, that's when I realized, like, yo, I got something great at home. Yeah. I'm over here leaving it for some bullshit. And then I didn't want to sell it because I didn't want to seem greedy. Right? I didn't have faith in the industry. I didn't have faith in what was going on. Why would I sell it to somebody to go through those problems when I know it's not there? I don't feel good about that. Right. And that's why I didn't sell it. That's why we just closed it down. And our customers, the great thing about it is that the electrician that I partnered up with, he still is in the industry. So all my clients' stuff is still serviced through the same people who installed. He was actually the person that installed them for the 5 years that we had them.
Oh, wow.
So and he's still in the industry. So they're being serviced. So I felt good about leaving like that. I didn't feel good about like, oh, you sell it to somebody else and then they have to go through the bullshit you going through and then the customers are still going to call me anyway. Nah, I wanted to leave them with a good taste in their mouth. And then I just wanted to kind of like clean break and focus on the media. So
you said that you started Youngest in the Yacht Club in March of this year, right?
Yeah, I had the LLC since 2020. I trademarked the name because you know.
That's good. Yeah, it's really
I
good.
fucking love that. I
Yeah.
still go back. Youngest in the yacht club, man.
Yeah.
That shit's dope, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank
and you guys got to listen to it. Check out his podcast. It's awesome, and it's got the best name in the Bay.
Hey.
And when we get back, Vince is going to tell us all about it. So like, comment, subscribe.
All right, boys, and we're back to Hollywood. Fuck.
Hollywood? No, we're keeping that.
And we're back with Happy Hour Holidaze. That fucking vodka water starting to get loosey in my fucking brain. We were just talking to Vince about his podcast, man. The best name ever, youngest in the yacht club.
Yes, sir.
Dude, so what gave you to make the name, and then how did you... what brought you to the podcast field?
The podcast world.
From solar, we were just talking about solar. I mean, you made a big U-turn and went, let's go media, which media is fucking fun too.
Yeah. So the music industry was something that was great to me, and I was still doing music during the solar time. So I would take, before I had the streets were financing the music, then it was solar that was financing the music. So I was still doing both. And then, but I had never really given this a full, 100%. I was always giving it 50-50 or splitting it with something. And so one of my songs, Sheesh, I was like, member of the yacht club and we be the youngest. And on that, look at the attire, you can see we doing numbers. Look at the attire, you can see we doing numbers. Who do it like me? and that line, like, member of the yacht club and we be the youngest. And I was like, yo, youngest in the yacht club. And when I said that, it was like, yo, that shit is
fucking super hot,
right? And I was like, yo, why I started analyzing, like, why is youngest in the yacht club so dope? And it's because it creates that idea of like, yo, everybody want to be in something exclusive. Everybody want that status symbol. But how do you do it though? And then I felt like I was a game changer. I felt like when people looked at me, so when people looked at me at a certain time, and they still do it now, they think that all this shit was given to me. They think that I came from money or something, right? They just, at one first glance, they think that I came from, silver spoon. Bitch, I came out of prison. Like, I'm from the dirt. I'm from the gutter, dog. And like, when you sit back and you're like, yo, why are these people? Because you elevated your status. And so I wanted to tell people, like, yo, you can do this too. The only thing is that I realize is that not everybody, you tell 10 people, 9 people will do what you say, right? So it's exclusive. Only 1% is going to do what you actually say.
That's a fucking fact.
And that's why they do it. So I was like, okay, so we're going to create this exclusive club, right? And I'm going to make it a label. I'm going to start saying it. It's going to be in music. And then I was like, yo, I'm going to make it a t-shirt. I need merch, right? So I made it a clothing thing, right? Then I got the office and they had a podcast studio inside of it. And they were like, yo, what about, youngest in the yacht club? Like, yo, what about doing a podcast? And I was like, okay, but who we going to get? And then I started realizing, yo, let's get the top entrepreneurs, in every industry and start rocking with them and just asking them about their journey because they making bread.
Yeah.
They'll give the game to the people. And youngest in the yacht club, I always say this on the podcast, youngest in the yacht club, they see the ship, they see the yacht, but they don't know the waters that you had to do, the journey you had to do to get there and how tough it is. And even in Wolf of Wall Street, man, my man had the yacht and then you saw what happened, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Choppy ass water. Bitch, you know shit about chop. I'll chop your credit card.
But dog, it's real life. Like even when you in that shit, you don't realize that more money, more problems. Especially if you ain't never had no money.
Exactly.
And so I wanted people to kind of understand, like, yo, learn from the top people. And then it went from just doing the podcast. We filmed like 30 episodes before we even put out our first one. We started shooting in November 2022, and then we put out the first episode March 31st of 2023. I wanted to get my feet in it, and I also wanted to make sure that I was going to give it 100% before I sacrificed my fucking company to go do this. And then I did it. My wife, it was a hard thing, man. My wife was like, "Look, I just don't see you in solar anymore. I see you in entertainment." You know,
I
mean,
can
you got
agree
the
with that.
personality, you got the look, baby.
Yeah, I mean-
and now we got the name.
Yeah,
Best of the Bay.
Yeah. Go vote. Go vote.
Thank
You got
you.
a link that they go
yeah,
vote
they can
at?
go. Yeah, Best in the Bay. You go to Youngest in the Yacht Club. Click the link in the bio, and it's right there. If you scroll up a little bit, and it's dope, man. So
And besides this, I mean, you had Billboard top fucking
16.
16.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
iTunes
bro.
number 4.
Yeah, iTunes number 4, Billboard 16. We you know, the biggest thing about that is that, you know, I'm big on manifestation, right? Before it was cool, right? Me and my wife did a vision board in 2019, and we put down some of the things that we wanted, right? We cut out magazine
And you
things,
hung it up,
and
right?
we hung it up in our rooms, and we were looking at it. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, the house that I had on that billboard, we bought a house. It looks similar to that. what we
Nice.
had. I had the billboard, the CD of the billboard. It looks just like that.
No shit.
I have we had matching cars, right? We ended up getting matching cars.
You got his and hers?
Yeah, his and hers. Like,
I mean, just for the audience, I mean, Billboard and iTunes, I mean, this is the world. This isn't like fucking a state.
50 million songs are put out every single
exactly.
day.
So
if you
this is
have one that
huge,
charts,
man.
right? And
I mean, that's a top 10 and a top 20. That's no easy feat.
Nah. It's extremely hard to do. You guys have had the legends on here on radio, and you know I was busting my ass since 2006 to get here, dog. So it's like, you know, you guys ask how old I am, and it's like, yo, I'm older. Why do you want to? You know, I'm 40, so why are you getting into it now? Well, this is why I started
It's
a
not
podcast.
why you getting into it now. It's more like
I've
finally
been in it.
You've been in it, yeah.
right? And I've been doing it for free, so I might as well get paid off it. And then not just that, longevity, right? I started Youngest in the Yacht Club it's not something that's going to die. It's something that's going to keep going, and we're going to continue to move it, and we're going to grow a community. And then there's going to be people that come that are younger than me that are going to come and do what I did a lot faster, and that's what I want. So the podcast, like, yo, we could do this podcast. You seen the people who doing the podcast? We could do it forever.
I know. And I feel like we jumped in at the hottest time. Like, I feel
Right.
like right now it's like a boom for podcasts.
Yeah.
Everybody wants information to listen to.
Yeah.
And if it's got a catchy name and you're bringing in some good educational info, especially about business,
Absolutely.
people fucking love that shit.
1,000%. And they need it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, we listen to bullshit all the time. So it's like, yo, people who are actually going through what you're going through, or maybe, you know, for whoever's listening to this, it's like, yo, you want to know about a story? I don't want no excuses. Like, you talked about negativity. There are 4 rules that I have to be successful, whether it be in music. I call them the 4 keys to success. Always be positive and always be happy. Good things happen when you're in a good mood, right? Avoid negativity at all costs. Nothing good ever happens when you're upset or negative, right?
1,000.
It's better to show people than to tell people.
Ooh.
I could tell my son that, you know, hey, I'm going to pick you up in the Benz, right? And the people won't believe you. But if I show up in the Benz, you ain't even got to say shit. And then the last one is only teach those that are willing to listen and learn. Don't waste your time on people who are not interested.
That's a fact, 100%, man. Because, I mean, I have talked to a lot of people who say, oh, I want to start a business. I want to do this. Okay, this is what you have to do. And then they're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. They don't do one fucking thing. They're still working a 9 to 5. And it's like, well, I told you what you had to do. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the 1%. They
Yep.
want to be the fucking 99%. And I think I got it right there, right?
Yeah.
Right there. In order to become the 1%, you got to do
Well, others won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the other 99.
Let's see what the other one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's,
And then going back to something you said earlier, you know, people are like, oh, they think I came from something. Well, it's kind of like being pregnant, right? You got pregnant,
Yep.
but nobody knows how many times you got fucked
To get there.
Yeah.
and it's wild because those people they may not be ready for the message. They may not understand what the message even means. And then some of them may never get it. And I was like that. Like, you could tell me something today, bro. I may not understand it 3 hours from now, 3 weeks from now, maybe not even 3 years. But then all of a sudden it clicks. I'm like, fuck, that's what they were saying. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, until you actually do it and you show people, and that's what I want to do with Youngest in the Yacht Club. I just want to show people. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not trying to rap with you. Obviously, we're in podcast, right? And we're it's showing, but my actions speak for themselves, man. The words, they don't really mean anything. It's the accomplishments. And really, dog, I don't gotta announce my accomplishments, man. They announce themselves.
Yeah, that's the problem I think with this generation, man. We gotta announce every fucking time you do. Just did a thing, bought a house, bought a car, bought this. It's like, bro,
Nobody gives a
the
fuck.
motherfuckers under the radar
Yeah.
are the motherfuckers making the real money.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. And you know, if you're doing shit, right? Joe Burrow said this, work in silence, you know? Work in silence, because people are going to be surprised with how much you've accumulated. And sometimes you just got, I look at it like right now, people are like, yo, you're all over the place. You're doing all these things. I put my head down. I go to work every single day. I'm consistent. You know, I've had so many people quit on me, but I've never quit on myself. And then when you look up, you got to realize, like, yo, it's okay to toot your horn. Like, yo, it's okay to say, like, damn, dog, look at what I've done, and be grateful and appreciate. I don't got to put it on the net.
Yeah.
But be grateful and appreciative, because I remember when I was sleeping in a cell and I was locked up in Santa Rosa on the show Locked Up, and I was in fucking going to war with the police 24 hours in a cell, only coming out 3 times a week.
Damn,
you know what I'm saying?
That sucks.
That's where you see how far I've come.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it came a fucking long way.
See, listen, and all to all the felons out there also, listen, you don't have to go back.
Nah,
you
1,000.
don't have to go back. If you could turn your life around, Vince, anybody could do it. The thing is, you have to be willing to make the sacrifice, make the change. If you don't do it, don't expect shit to fall in your lap.
Yeah.
And also, don't revert back to what got you there in the first place, because it didn't work the first time. Probably not going to work the second time.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be smarter about the situations, man. And then the same energy that you put into something negative, if you put into something positive, it's going to be a lot easier. That's the biggest thing, man. Like, I realized that. It's like, yo, I was the same.
I mean, you learned a lot about business when you were doing it.
Same
but,
principles,
just
dog.
apply it to something legal.
Yeah, that's it. And now, and bro, like, it's the same shit, right? I still got the Jack Boys. Right? There are people who are trying to steal your money. Right? Right? There's people who are trying to steal. You still got to worry about the IRS, the police,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Right?
yep.
So you have to do things right, the right way. And then you now have to, the only difference is, like, I get to watch and focus on my business. I don't have to watch and focus on my back, right? Or what's behind me. I can look at what's forward. And that's the best part about, you know, I do think, yo, we're all Latin in here, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yo, we have an opportunity that maybe we wouldn't be offered at any other place, man. I lived in DR. You know, I don't know if are you guys?
Our parents are from Cuba. So,
Come on,
I mean, they've lived in communism. You know, they came not on a boat. Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't come on a boat. They flew here after the Castro regime transfer. So they came with nothing, a suitcase and the clothes on their back, bro. If they can do something with their life, if you guys could do, bro, the possibilities are endless. And then when you see all these people that come for money that do absolutely nothing, you're like, well, fuck, you had the advantage. And here we come. We're surpassing you now. Now you guys are going to be what they call just the 99%.
Yeah.
But that's what Vince said. The best thing I heard, it was you got to be 100% committed or 135% committed. If you're not committed, forget about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not about what you do every once in a while. It's about how many days you do it silently, back to back to back. Consistency is what's going to get you there.
Yeah. Well,
1000%.
what was that quote that Les Brown said? He was like, or maybe it was Eric Thomas. And he was like, after Emmitt Smith won the Super Bowl, he was back in the gym training because he celebrated for like a minute. And then he was back to work because success never stops. No. You know, failure is always right behind you. And you said, now look behind your back. But, bro, failure's it's like
right
the
there.
little devil on your shoulder. So you got to just keep running forward.
1000.
I mean, I think that's key right there. Vince, give the audience your last words.
Yeah. I'm glad that you guys brought up like good people like Eric Thomas and Les Brown. I want to give you something from Tim Grover. He has a book called Relentless and a book called Winning.
Oh, I've been relentless.
Yeah. And so
yeah, that's a good
That was
one.
with D Wade,
Yeah,
right?
Dwayne Wade. Yeah.
The one called Winning is more about Kobe. And Michael Jordan. And I want you guys to kind of know something. It's like the road to winning always starts in hell. And how that works is this. You have to go through all this shit, right? Go through a billion things, right? All the way to get to the championship game. And then even when you win the championship game, right? The bus to success for next year is right there waiting for you to take you back to hell. And you gotta do it all over again. And the great ones know that.
Yes.
And they realized that. And it realized like, yo, celebrate your wins for this long. You got to get right back to it if you want to keep doing it again. You want to be, we got nominated for we've only been out 6 months. We got nominated. Okay. The next goal, that's cool. Now it's time to win it.
Yeah.
Then it's time to do it. Best podcast in the country. Best podcast in the world.
There you go.
Let's start doing that. Best music. We got number 16.
Yeah.
Time to
Number
go for
4 on iTunes,
number 4.
which is big.
It's time to go for number 1.
There you go.
I want a number 1 in English and I want a number 1 in Spanish. So it's like these are goals that and don't sometimes, dog, we don't think big enough. Because I was like, oh, let me just get one. Okay. Shit, I got one now. Well, why don't you get number 1?
Number 1.
go.
Baby.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm not thinking big. When I started my company, I was like, yo, I don't want to just be a regular company. I want to be a top company, a top tier, $1 million company, $1 billion company. All right. Go for that. Because even if you miss, 100 million is not bad.
And what do they say? They say it's not that people aim too high.
I love it, dog.
It's not that people
awesome.
aim too high and miss. It's that people aim too low and hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it happens to me. I hit my goals and then I'm twiddling my thumbs trying to figure out what's going on. That if I had more goals behind it, we'd be straight.
Damn, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
Hell
Vince.
yeah.
Thank you, bro.
It's been awesome, man. You guys check out his podcast, listen to his, and then also like, subscribe, and comment on our podcast.
Thank
If
you.
you have any questions for Vince, please comment on them so we can see what you're looking for.
And also a quick reminder, vote for him.
Yeah,
Go to
bro.
Best in the Bay podcast and vote for Youngest in the Yacht Club.
Awesome. Thank you.
Peace
guys.
out, guys.